Okay, we have some quick videos regarding the next U.S. tax return form, and this is the 1040A. So you've already done the 1040EZ, and again, it's an easy form. You're only dealing with about a dozen lines or so, but that form will only work in certain cases. And when you graduate from college or high school, whatever, that's good enough. But as your life becomes more fulfilling, more complicated, so does the tax returns. So, for example, what if you have children? Well, you can no longer use the 1040EZ. The 1040A does have a spot right here where you can put in your dependents. And a dependent could also be an elderly parent that you're caring for. Actually, before I even get to that, filing status. If you recall, for the easy form, single or married filing jointly were the only two options. Now you can do married filing separately, and there are some cases in which you would like to do that. And I'm not going to really get into that for this course, but it is possible that you are married and your spouse would file one return while you would file your own return. It can possibly make a difference. Again, it gets into salary and some other situations. We also have the whole head of the household deal, where you may be a single parent and have not only your child, but maybe you're also responsible for a younger brother or an elderly aunt or uncle, so you have that going on. And you see here also we have the whole widow or widower. So there's more filing statuses. As I mentioned, this works for if you have children, if you want, and children are a tax break. So if you have children, you do want to claim them and lower your taxes. You cannot do that on the 1040EZ, but you can do it on the 1040A. Some other quick things, I'm just going to work through the form. You have the income section. Before it was just wages and then taxable interest and then unemployment. You can see now we have a whole bunch more of possibilities here. Dividends and capital gain distributions, those are basically if you're investing. Okay, IRA distributions. IRA stands for Individualized Retirement Account. Basically, it's your own savings plan that you put together. We're going to talk about this once we get into the end of the course. Pensions and annuities. We did talk about pensions, but basically these two situations are for elderly people who are retired. We're not there yet. We're still looking for our jobs, so we're not going to worry too much about these two. You've seen unemployment before. Social Security deals with again, if you are retired or potentially if you are disabled, then you will be collecting Social Security. So again, lines 10 and 11 and 14 we're not going to be dealing with too much. There's also some extra deductions. Let me move this up a little bit more. Here we go. Educator expenses. If you are a teacher and you spend money on your students that you're not getting reimbursed for, you can deduct that. Student loan interest deduction. We'll use this one a lot because you pay student loans, you pay interest, and you can deduct some of that interest. Also, if you're taking courses, tuition and fees, that can help lower your taxes. Now you see here we're already at 21 lines and we're still not even onto the second side. If you flip over on your form that you grabbed, you can see here that we have a whole bunch more lines to go through. A lot of them are going to be zeros. Okay, not all of them, but a lot of them. A couple to focus on. One is the standard deduction. If you remember from the easy form, you had either a $10,000 amount if you were single or a $20,000 amount if you were married filing jointly. If we move over to the left, you can see a bubble which connects to line 24, and this bubble tells you what number to put in, and you can see there's one for single, one for married, and then one for head of the household. So again, this bubble right here connects to line 24. So line 24 should never be zero. You're always entering something in for your standard deduction. Line 26 is also another line that's important. This is your exemptions. This is where, and I'll get to this more when we fill it out, this is where your kids lower your taxable income, and we'll talk more about that in the next video. But you see, also you can see you get a credit if you have child daycare or elderly care expenses in these two lines right here. Retirement savings contributions. The one that I would like to focus on is 35, child tax credit. This is a credit that was put into play a little while back, and it's another break that you get for having children. 38, healthcare, that's the Obamacare line again, just like we had in the previous form. And 40, this is the tax that was withheld from your paycheck throughout the year. Earned income credit, we said that's always going to be 0, so even though it's bold, we're not going to worry about that. And then you see a couple other lines here, and again, we're not going to really be worrying about that. So there's going to be a lot of zeros that we're entering in over here. No big deal. But once again, you either get, let me just scroll a little bit more, you either get a refund or you owe an amount. So we'll finish on line 47 if we're getting money back, or on line 50 if we owe money. So that's the end of this video, and the next video we'll break them down as we go through a sample situation.